Christiane Amanpour, a well-known journalist, has finally discussed the reasons for her divorce from Jamie Rubin after 20 years of marriage. Amanpour, one of the most reputable voices in international news, has dedicated her professional life to revealing the truth about world conflicts. Still, she has been incredibly secretive about her personal life until now. Many people are curious about what prompted this once powerful couple to break up after learning of the discovery. Was there more going on here, or was it just the unrelenting pressures of their prominent careers? Following years of conjecture, Amanpour's open revelation provides a unique window into her inner struggles. Join us as we delve into the little-known tale of their unexpected split. Christiane Amanpour. Born on January 12, 1958, Christiane Maria Haida Amanpour is regarded as one of the most prestigious journalists of her day. Her gutsy reporting and commitment to finding the truth have earned her a reputation. Throughout her decades-long career, she has reported on some of the most critical world events, including war zones, political upheavals, and humanitarian disasters. She is a respected voice in the media because of her dedication to journalism, which has brought her prominence on a global scale. Birth in early life. Christiane Amanpour was raised in a multicultural, globally linked household, which greatly impacted her outlook on life and work. From a young age, she had a distinct viewpoint on world politics, since her mother was British and her father was Iranian. This cultural fusion allowed her to encounter Eastern and Western customs, greatly influencing her comprehension of global dynamics. Iran and England. Amanpour was exposed to very distinct social, political, and cultural contexts throughout her early years while living in Iran and England. Before the Iranian Revolution, which drastically changed the country's environment, she grew up in Tehran, where things were relatively stable. The family lived well thanks to her father's business career, and Amanpour went to some of the top schools in the area. Impact on Amanpour's outlook. However, the political shifts in Iran in the late 1970s significantly affected Amanpour's perspective. She saw firsthand the power battles, ideological changes, and cultural developments that would eventually become significant subjects in journalism as the revolution played out. The revolution impacted her family's way of life and changed Iran. This encounter piqued her interest in international politics, strengthening her resolve to work in a field that would allow her to record and interpret such momentous events. Newhall School. Amanpour relocated to England to continue her studies, where she enrolled at the renowned Roman Catholic Newhall School. The academic rigor and discipline of this setting better equipped her to face obstacles in the future, which also helped her develop the resilience and intellectual curiosity that would characterize her journalism career. During these early years, her love of telling stories and finding the truth started to take shape. Education in journalism. After realizing her potential, Amanpour eventually relocated to the U.S. to pursue a journalism degree. She studied journalism and developed her reporting abilities at the University of Rhode Island. With this choice, she entered the realm of international news and paved the way for a career that would take her to some of the globe's most hazardous and politically consequential places. Amanpour's early years had a significant influence on her daring journalistic style. Her career as one of the most renowned journalists in the world was made possible by her Iranian British ancestry, exposure to other cultures, and personal experience of political unrest. A career defined by courage. Amanpour joined CNN in its infancy and started her career there in the early 1980s. The world noticed when she bravely reported from the front lines during the Gulf War in 1990-91. This was her big break. She has since covered wars in Afghanistan, Iraq, Rwanda, Bosnia, and other places. She has distinguished herself in the field by offering in-depth analysis while maintaining a strong moral compass. Interviews with world leaders. Interviews with international leaders, such as presidents, prime ministers, and controversial individuals, have characterized Amanpour's career. She has a reputation for challenging authority figures and holding them responsible. She has conducted interviews with leaders including Vladimir Putin, Muammar Gaddafi, and Yasser Arafat, often challenging them on topics like political corruption, war crimes, and human rights. Awards and recognition. Amanpour has received many honors for her work, including the International Women's Media Foundation's Courage in Journalism Award, a Peabody Award, and Emmy Awards. She continues to inspire young journalists, and her contributions to international media are well recognized. Commitment to journalism and advocacy. Amanpour has supported women's rights and press freedom in addition to her reporting. She has spoken against censorship and the threats that journalists face across the globe. Her profession is still guided by her conviction that media can effect change. Her unwavering quest for the truth characterizes Christiane Amanpour's legacy. Her contributions have influenced contemporary journalism, demonstrating that bravery and honesty are essential to effective reporting. She still has a strong voice in international issues today, encouraging future generations of journalists to pursue similar careers. Christiane Amanpour's education. Christiane Amanpour's career as one of the most renowned journalists in the world was greatly influenced by her scholastic path. Her education laid the groundwork for her brave reporting and critical attitude to world events, starting with her early education in England, where she cultivated discipline and intellectual curiosity, and continuing her formal journalistic training in the United States. She developed her capacity to find and convey the truth while studying journalism at the University of Rhode Island, where she also had practical experience in news writing and investigative reporting. Her academic training and interest in world affairs equipped her for a career that redefined international journalism. Early schooling in England. Amanpour started her official schooling at Chelmsford, England's Newhall School, a Roman Catholic establishment. At Newhall, a boarding institution renowned for its academic rigor and discipline, she developed a strong work ethic and an intellectual curiosity. The school's emphasis on organized learning, public speaking, and critical thinking helped her build the capacity to express herself effectively, which was crucial for her future work in journalism. History and international relations. Amanpour also developed a strong appreciation for international relations and history at Newhall. She grew interested in international events due to growing up in a multicultural home and seeing changes in global politics. Her education encouraged her to pursue these interests, and she did very well academically, especially in history, politics, and language classes. Higher education in the United States. Amanpour recognized her love for journalism and decided to continue her studies in the United States. Journalism was her major when she enrolled at the University of Rhode Island. She gained practical experience and academic understanding while attending the university, which equipped her for the demands of foreign reporting. Amanpour engaged in various media-related organizations and worked at the university radio station while attending the University of Rhode Island. She gained expertise in news writing, interviewing, and investigative reporting. Her teachers urged her to seek a career in broadcast journalism after seeing her skill and commitment. Graduation and early career steps. Amanpour earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with honors. Shortly after graduating, she landed an entry-level job at CNN, a young and expanding news network. She stood out in the cutthroat journalistic industry because of her education, perseverance, and bilingual skills. Amanpour's schooling fostered her intellectual curiosity and drive for discovering the truth while equipping her with technical abilities. Her scholarly background prepared her for bold and influential reporting on world events. Professional accolades. As a result of her brave reporting and dedication to the truth, Christiane Amanpour has become one of the most renowned journalists in the world, receiving several honors. She has provided in-depth and influential journalism that has influenced the public's perception of international politics throughout the years, covering some of the most critical world events, often from war areas. Her position as a pioneer in foreign reporting has been cemented by the many Emmy Awards, Peabody Awards, and the Courage in Journalism Award, among other significant accolades and distinctions, which have internationally acknowledged her commitment to finding the truth, even in the most perilous circumstances. Emmy Awards and Peabody Awards. Amanpour's exceptional coverage of world issues has earned her several Emmy Awards. She has received recognition for her courage and honesty in reporting from war-torn areas, including Bosnia, Iraq, Rwanda, and Afghanistan. In addition to Emmys, she has won many Peabody Awards, which honor excellence in broadcasting. These accolades demonstrate her dedication to producing insightful and influential journalism. Courage in Journalism Award. Amanpour received the Courage in Journalism Award from the International Women's Media Foundation for her courageous reporting from hazardous areas. This award honors women journalists who risked their lives to reveal the truth. Amanpour's work, which is often done in dangerous settings, is a prime example of the commitment and bravery the prize aims to recognize. Walter Cronkite Award for Excellence in Journalism. Amanpour received the Walter Cronkite Award for Excellence in Journalism for her dedication to journalistic integrity. This esteemed award, named after the renowned broadcaster Walter Cronkite, is given to those who have consistently committed to truthful and impartial reporting. Amanpour was a worthy winner because her unwavering search for the truth characterized her career. Commander of the Order of the British Empire, CBE. The British government named Amanpour a Commander of the Order of the British Empire, CBE, for her journalism services 2007. This accolade acknowledges her influence on international reporting and news coverage worldwide. Christiane Amanpour has received several vital accolades during her career in recognition of her commitment to journalism. Her professional honors are a testament to her unrelenting dedication to the truth, courageous reporting, and noteworthy contributions to international journalism. Christiane Amanpour's health issues. After receiving a terrible medical diagnosis, Christiane Amanpour, who is renowned for her courageous journalism and unshakable commitment to reporting from some of the most hazardous combat zones in the world, had to contend with a very personal struggle. She faced a far more individual and life-altering problem than any she had encountered in her work after decades of reporting on international crises and elevating essential topics. A silent killer. Amanpour made her ovarian cancer diagnosis public. Ovarian cancer is known as a silent killer because of its modest symptoms, which may go unnoticed until the illness is advanced. Her co-workers, viewers, and fans across the globe were shocked and alarmed by the news, since they had always respected her fortitude in covering conflict zones and international problems. Even though she is known for taking on the most challenging global subjects, she had to fight this war on a very personal level. She displayed the same bravery she had shown throughout her career when faced with a life-altering diagnosis, utilizing her position to advocate for women's health and the value of early detection. Difficult to diagnose in its initial stages. Given that ovarian cancer is often difficult to identify in its early stages, her diagnosis highlighted the significance of early identification. After a lifetime of speaking up for those impacted by conflict, political upheaval, and humanitarian catastrophes, Amanpour now promoted awareness of a cancer that affects thousands of women worldwide. Speaking openly about her illness, she emphasized the importance of women prioritizing their health and getting regular checkups. Strength and resilience. Amanpour showed the same tenacity and fortitude that had characterized her career in the face of this significant health issue. She took some time to concentrate on her health, but her love for journalism never wavered, and she remained an important voice in international reporting. Her candidness about her condition inspired many who looked up to her for her daring reporting on political upheavals and conflict zones. In addition to increasing awareness, her readiness to be open about the challenges of dealing with such an illness inspired others to put their health first and get help. Stark reminder. Her health issues served as a sobering reminder that life's uncertainties may affect even the most self-assured people. As she overcame her battle, Amanpour's bravery showed outside the workplace, demonstrating her ability to cover global events and persevere in the face of hardship. Recovering from her health issues. Throughout her health struggle, Christiane Amanpour showed bravery, resiliency, and an unrelenting dedication to spreading awareness about ovarian cancer. She started a rigorous treatment regimen that involved extensive surgery and many months of chemotherapy after making her illness public. Despite the difficulties, Amanpour attacked her recuperation with the same tenacity that had characterized her career as an unafraid journalist. Remained open about her experience. Amanpour maintained her candor throughout her treatment, used her position to promote women's health, and emphasized the value of early diagnosis. She praised the excellent treatment she received from her team of talented medical professionals, especially those specializing in gynecological malignancies. She was treated at some of the most prominent hospitals, where she was given state-of-the-art care that was intended to maximize her chances of recovery. Professionally active. Amanpour was resolved not to allow her health issues define her legacy. Therefore, she continued to be active in her career despite the challenging path to recovery. She showed her undying commitment to her job by continuing to work in journalism even while enduring chemotherapy. Gradually, she returned to her position at CNN, bringing her characteristic intelligence and determination back to the world stage. Colleagues, viewers, and fans who respected her bravery in the face of hardship showered her with support when she returned to television. Testament to her mental and emotional strength. Amanpour's recuperation demonstrated her mental and emotional fortitude and her ability to overcome a physical ailment. After the encounter, she was more determined than ever to promote health awareness and encourage women to take the initiative to be screened for diseases. Her narrative impressed many, demonstrating that tenacity and will could overcome even the most challenging obstacles. By telling her story, Amanpour strengthened her reputation as a journalist who exposes injustice, whether in conflict areas or her own life, and gave hope to others going through comparable struggles. Her recuperation confirmed her reputation as an inspiration, demonstrating that bravery involves not just reporting from perilous locations, but also taking on life's most difficult challenges. Fearless journalism. Beyond her career accomplishments, Christiane Amanpour is a remarkable person because of several intriguing facets of her life. She is well known for her courageous journalism. These lesser-known details provide a fuller understanding of the lady behind the news, from her proficiency in many languages to her intense interest in world politics. Multicultural background. An intriguing feature about Amanpour is that she speaks many languages. Because of her cosmopolitan upbringing, she has a working grasp of French and speaks Persian and English well. Her ability to communicate in various languages has helped her in her international reporting by enabling her to establish stronger connections with a broad range of groups and sources throughout the globe. Gilmore Girls and House of Cards. Popular culture has also influenced Amanpour's career. Her impact goes beyond journalism, since she has portrayed herself in television shows like House of Cards and Gilmore Girls. These guest appearances reflect her reputation as a well-known and significant media personality. She was also mentioned in the HBO series The Newsroom, illustrating her influence on media representations of journalists. Honorary recognition. Another little-known facet of her life is that Amanpour has received honorary honors from many prominent organizations. Over the years, she has earned several honorary degrees from colleges throughout the globe, including the University of Michigan and Harvard University. These prizes recognize her contributions to journalism and influence global conversation on essential problems. Family and personal interests. Despite her well-known job, Amanpour has remained close to her family and hobbies. She has spoken about how her upbringing in a culturally diverse setting shaped her interests in history and art. She has also often underlined the value of narrative in journalism and has a strong passion for literature. Mentorship programs. Amanpour has also actively participated in mentoring programs, which have inspired young journalists to pursue careers in investigative reporting. Using her position to draw attention to journalists' dangers while seeking the truth, she has long argued for press freedom and the safety of those who operate in war areas. These little-known facts about Christiane Amanpour deepen her already remarkable legacy by highlighting her as a committed journalist, a global champion for justice and truth, and a cultural icon. James Rubin. James Rubin is a well-known journalist, politician, and diplomat. He has contributed substantially to media discourse and international relations and is best recognized as a U.S. government officer and political analyst. His decades-long career has established him as a reputable voice in global politics. Rubin first became well known as the principal spokesman for the U.S. State Department while serving as President Bill Clinton's Assistant Secretary of State for Public Affairs. Because of his extensive knowledge of global affairs and diplomacy, he significantly influenced how the general public saw American foreign policy. After leaving the administration, Rubin became a well-known political commentator who provided knowledgeable analysis on CNN and other major news networks. Tony Blair, the former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, is among the political figures he has advised. With a political and media background, Rubin remains a leading voice in international relations, diplomacy, and global security debates. Birth and early life. Born on March 28, 1960, James Philip Rubin is an American journalist and former diplomat who served as the U.S. State Department's Assistant Secretary of State for Public Affairs during the Clinton administration. He often contributed to the Sunday Times of London with a foreign affairs piece. James Rubin's early life significantly influenced his development into a renowned writer, political analyst, and diplomat. He grew up in an intellectually stimulating atmosphere and became interested in public affairs and international relations early on. He laid the groundwork for his future prosperous career in politics, diplomacy, and the media during his early years. Valued education, critical thinking, and global awareness. Rubin was raised in a household that valued education, critical thinking, and world consciousness. His parents fostered his intellectual interest, especially his father, a recognized figure in academic circles. This milieu sparked his interest in international relations, which exposed him to conversations about politics, global issues, and diplomacy at a young age. Exceptional student. Rubin was an outstanding student, excelling in political science, history, and debate. He stood out from his colleagues because of his capacity to express his ideas clearly and comprehend intricate political topics. He showed extraordinary leadership abilities and often participated in debates and intellectual contests that improved his knowledge of world events. Columbia University. After realizing his potential, Rubin attended Columbia University, one of the most prominent universities in the U.S., to further his studies. He graduated from Columbia's School of International and Public Affairs, SIPA, with a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science and a Master of Arts in International Affairs. His studies at Columbia enhanced his knowledge of international politics, diplomacy, and strategic communication. Political debates and discussions. Rubin prepared for a future in public service throughout college by actively participating in political debates and foreign policy talks. He had a special interest in American foreign policy and the function of diplomacy in resolving disputes. He eventually became a renowned voice in world politics because of the information and analytical abilities he acquired from his studies. Rubin's success was predicated on his early years, which were characterized by academic discipline and exposure to political conversation. He was pivotal in U.S. diplomacy, the media, and foreign policy debates because of his solid educational background and enthusiasm for world issues. U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for Public Affairs. Rubin became well known when he served as the Assistant Secretary of State for Public Affairs in the administration of President Bill Clinton. Under Secretary of State Madeleine Albright, he was the State Department's principal spokesperson in this capacity. He became a well-known government figure because of his capacity to explain intricate foreign policy matters and defend American diplomatic choices. During his time there, he conveyed the nation's position on significant international problems such as NATO's action in Kosovo and American ties with the Middle East. Media and academia. After working for the government, Rubin moved into the media and academia. He became a political commentator, providing knowledgeable insight on global issues. Major news networks like CNN often solicited and used his opinions to evaluate international policy issues. Because of his knowledge and clear communication style, he contributed significantly to security, diplomacy, and conversations about global crises. Advisor to political leaders. Rubin advised political leaders and was visible in the media. He worked closely with former British Prime Minister Tony Blair and provided strategic advice on foreign policy issues. Because of his background in American and foreign politics, he was able to participate in high-level decision-making processes and negotiate challenging diplomatic situations. Sharing his knowledge. Rubin has also worked in academia, imparting his wisdom to students and future diplomats. He has given foreign affairs lectures at respected universities, stressing the value of global collaboration, strategic communication, and diplomacy. His devotion to education reflects his desire to mold the next generation of foreign policy leaders. Shared passion for global affairs. Beyond his career accomplishments, Rubin is well known for his association with media, which stems from his marriage to Christiane Amanpour, a prominent journalist. They became one of the most famous power couples in politics and the media because of their mutual love of world events and international reporting. James Rubin's leadership, knowledge, and contributions to political discourse have shaped his career and solidified his status as a significant media player and international affairs player. Education significantly shaped his career. His schooling greatly influenced James Rubin's political analysis, media, and diplomacy career. Deep involvement in political science, foreign affairs, and strategic communication throughout his academic career helped him establish himself as a reputable authority on world politics. His schooling strongly emphasized policymaking, media influence, and negotiation, all vital components of his work. Through his education, Rubin gained the knowledge and strategic acumen that characterized his significant positions in media and administration. Bachelor's degree. One of the most prominent Ivy League universities in the U.S., Columbia University, was Rubin's place of higher study. He earned a bachelor's degree in political science, where he solidified his knowledge of international relations, political philosophy, and government. Throughout his undergraduate studies, he was introduced to essential subjects, including global wars, diplomatic tactics, and U.S. foreign policy, which ultimately played a significant role in his career. Master's degree in International Affairs. Rubin pursued his education at Columbia School of International and Public Affairs, SIPA, where he obtained a master's degree in International Affairs after learning about his enthusiasm for world events. This specialist degree taught him more about economic policy, security studies, and foreign diplomacy. He gained a comprehensive awareness of how international organizations operate and how political actions affect international relations as a result of the demanding coursework. His professors and fellow students. Rubin actively participated in discussions, policy debates, and research projects at SIPA. He honed his analytical and strategic thinking abilities by working with instructors and classmates actively interested in government. His schooling strongly emphasized diplomacy, negotiation, and the media's role in influencing public opinion, skills that would later be crucial to his work as a political analyst and government spokesman. High-profile roles. Research on American foreign policy and national security was another aspect of Rubin's academic background that equipped him for the prominent positions he would eventually hold, such as Assistant Secretary of State for Public Affairs under President Bill Clinton. In addition to giving him academic knowledge, his Columbia degree gave him real-world understanding of the intricacies of global politics. Rubin became a well-known voice in international politics and diplomacy after completing his studies and gaining the skills necessary to succeed in positions including government, media, and policy advice. James Rubin's professional accolades. James Rubin has had a distinguished career in journalism, politics, and diplomacy. He is well known for his contributions to media discourse and international affairs. Thanks to his proficiency in foreign policy and strategic communication, he has established himself as a reputable figure in international diplomacy. He has won awards for his commitment to media participation, political analysis, and public service. Chief Spokesperson. Serving as President Bill Clinton's Assistant Secretary of State for Public Affairs from 1997 to 2000 was one of Rubin's most noteworthy positions. He served as the principal spokesman for the United States Department of State, defining American foreign policy on critical international problems and forming diplomatic narratives. Both journalists and government officials praised him for his ability to convey complicated foreign policy effectively. Foreign Affair Commentator. In addition to his work for the government, Rubin made essential contributions to media and journalism. He gave in-depth political views while working as a foreign affairs analyst and pundit for major networks such as CNN. His reputation as a reliable voice in international affairs was cemented when his journalism was acknowledged for its profundity and clarity. He also worked as the Sunday Times' leading foreign affairs writer, examining and criticizing international diplomatic events. Professor of International Relations. Additionally, Rubin left a lasting impression in his work as a policy advisor and in academics. He taught aspiring diplomats and politicians about the intricacies of world events when he was a visiting professor of international relations at the London School of Economics, LSE. He gained significant acclaim in diplomatic and educational circles for his ability to connect academic theory with practical diplomacy. He provided strategic views on international relations, security policies, and diplomatic discussions to several think tanks and policy institutes, in addition to his teaching duties. Guest lecture. Rubin often participated in panel discussions, guest lectures, and advisory positions, influencing conversations on international diplomacy and U.S. foreign policy. He also mentored professionals and students, giving them the analytical abilities required for government and international affairs jobs. His impact in academia and policy advisory circles was further cemented by his scholarly achievements and real-world diplomatic experience, which made him a highly sought-after expert in international relations. His contributions to NATO. He engaged in peacekeeping missions and discussions throughout the Middle East and Europe as part of his diplomatic endeavors. His contributions to NATO-related policies and attempts to resolve conflicts in the Balkans further showed his leadership and diplomatic abilities. Rubin has been invited to counsel prominent political personalities and garnered many accolades for his public relations, media, and diplomacy work. He is still regarded as a significant figure in media and administration because of his commitment, wit, and impact. Christiane Amanpour marries James Rubin. James Rubin, a well-known American journalist and political personality, was married to Christiane Amanpour, one of the most renowned journalists in the world. Their mutual love of journalism, public service, and foreign issues laid the foundation for their partnership. The pair balanced their rigorous work with their dedication to family, leading a quiet existence despite their well-known vocations. A meeting of minds. Amanpour and James Rubin first connected in the late 1990s because of their shared interest in international politics and the media. Rubin, a previous U.S. diplomat and authority on global policy, served as President Bill Clinton's Assistant Secretary of State for Public Affairs. They were a powerful duo in politics and media because of his in-depth knowledge of international relations and Amanpour's unafraid coverage of global events. After getting married in 1998, Amanpour and Rubin began a collaboration that lasted for 20 years. After relocating to London, they established a life together despite juggling the demands of their challenging jobs. Despite their hectic schedules, they remained close and supported one another's career while they raised their 2000 son, Darius John Rubin. Challenges and separation. Amanpour and Rubin encountered the unavoidable challenges of maintaining relationships while traveling often for work as their careers took off. While Rubin's diplomatic and media responsibilities necessitated his long hours, Amanpour's reporting usually led her to conflict areas. It became increasingly difficult for them to spend time together due to the demands of their various careers, and eventually they drifted apart. After 20 years of marriage, Amanpour and Rubin divorced in 2018. Many were shocked by the news, since their partnership had been respected and long-lasting. Later, Amanpour said they had decided to separate since their lives had followed different paths. They were dedicated to co-parenting their kid and keeping a cordial relationship even after their marriage ended. A lasting legacy. Despite the dissolution of their marriage, Amanpour and Rubin had a relationship characterized by respect for one another, intellectual cooperation, and a dedication to truth and public service. Their time together demonstrated a strong bond based on a love of world politics and shared ideals. Political analyst and diplomat. James Rubin, a renowned diplomat and political commentator, has always had a close relationship with his son, Darius John Rubin. Rubin has prioritized his duty as a parent, ensuring that his relationship with Darius endures despite the challenges of his well-known profession in media, diplomacy, and international affairs. He has actively participated in his son's development, stimulating his interest and helping him comprehensively grasp world events. Darius was exposed to essential conversations about global affairs, diplomacy, and government at a young age, since he grew up in a home where politics and media were prevalent. Committed to co-parenting. Rubin and Christiane Amanpour remain dedicated to respectfully and understandingly co-parenting their child after their 2018 divorce. Rubin's intellectual and emotional support has shaped Darius's views and goals. Their intimate bond demonstrates Rubin's commitment to parenthood and guarantees Darius a secure and caring home. Household deeply in global affairs. Darius John Rubin, the son of famed journalist Christiane Amanpour and James Rubin, was born in 2000. Because he grew up in a home that was very involved in world events, Darius was exposed to conversations about international relations, media, and diplomacy from a young age. James Rubin, renowned for his eloquent political observations, has probably influenced how his son views the world. Importance of maintaining a stable environment. Despite their 20-year marriage ending in divorce in 2018, Rubin and Amanpour stayed dedicated to co-parenting Darius respectfully and understandingly. Both parents have made it clear publicly how crucial it is to keep their kid in a secure and nurturing environment. Even after the split, Rubin has said that taking care of Darius's welfare and upbringing has always been his priority. Guided and encouraged his son. Rubin has mentored and supported his son as a parent, encouraging his intellectual curiosity and profound awareness of world concerns. Given Rubin's vast background in politics and diplomacy, it's inevitable that he gave Darius insightful advice that shaped his outlook on life and his professional goals. Despite living a secluded existence, Darius's exposure to his mother's and father's professions has influenced his perception of politics, the media, and international affairs. Emotional and intellectual support. Despite their rigorous jobs, Rubin and his son have a close relationship, with both parents making sure Darius enjoys a well-rounded upbringing. James Rubin is essential to his son's life, offering intellectual and emotional support via shared experiences, deep talks, and educational encouragement. Their bond demonstrates Rubin's dedication to parenting and shows that, despite his worldwide obligations, being a dad is still one of his most valued and essential commitments. His health challenges. James Rubin is a well-known journalist, diplomat, and political commentator who has devoted much of his life to international relations and public service. Like many others in demanding occupations, he has had health issues. Although Rubin has kept his health quiet, his career's high demands, which include continuous media appearances, lengthy travel, and complex negotiations, inevitably hurt his health. High levels of stress and long hours. High stress levels, long hours, and substantial mental and physical demands are often linked to the political and diplomatic fields. As a result of his academic work in the media and government, Rubin was usually under tremendous pressure to react to crises and challenging geopolitical environments. A lifestyle like this may lead to health issues, including exhaustion, stress-related disorders, and other physical diseases that people in high-stakes jobs often encounter. Coping mechanism. Although Rubin hasn't been involved in any well-publicized serious health problems, people in his line of work often suffer from stress-related illnesses, including high blood pressure, heart strain, or fatigue. Exercise, nutrition, and leading a healthy personal life are some coping strategies many journalists and political people choose to deal with these difficulties. Rubin has probably had to prioritize self-care and deliberate measures to maintain his well-being because of his demanding profession. His emotional health. Furthermore, overcoming personal obstacles, like his 2018 divorce from Christiane Amanpour, could have impacted his mental well-being. Maintaining stability for his son, Darius John Rubin, would have been his top goal, since significant life transitions, especially those in the public glare, may be stressful. It probably took extraordinary emotional fortitude to manage his duties and professional commitments. Personal healing and co-parenting more complex. Divorce may affect one's general well-being since it can cause emotions of loss, change, and adjustment, particularly after a lengthy marriage. Furthermore, the pressures of Rubin and Amanpour's high-profile jobs in international politics may further complicate co-parenting and personal reconciliation. Rubin has, however, shown his capacity to handle emotional difficulties with fortitude and tenacity while making sure his family always comes first by pledging to be involved in his son's life and pursue his career. Rubin has contributed to journalism and political debate despite the demands of his personal and professional lives. His continued involvement in international politics indicates that he has successfully handled whatever health issues he may have had, maintaining his enthusiasm for analysis and diplomacy. Work has taken him worldwide. Beyond his political career, James Rubin is well known in foreign diplomacy, media, and political analysis. Several fascinating facts demonstrate the breadth of his experiences and impact. His life and career have taken him all over the globe, allowing him to engage with world leaders, influence foreign policy, and contribute to the conversation in the media. Political and media landscape. One of Rubin's lesser-known traits is his ability to move fluidly between the media and political spheres. Although he is most known for his work as President Bill Clinton's Assistant Secretary of State for Public Affairs, he was also a significant figure in the media. He demonstrated versatility across several press by working as a world affairs editor for Bloomberg News and as a leading foreign affairs pundit for Sky News. London School of Economics. Rubin's intense involvement in academia is another fascinating facet of his life. When he was a visiting professor of international relations at the London School of Economics, he shared his knowledge with students, hoping to pursue careers in international affairs and diplomacy. He influences outside of policy circles because of his ability to convert complex global challenges into debates about education. International affairs. During his work, Rubin also traveled to Europe, where he was instrumental in advising political figures. During his time in government, he collaborated closely with former UK Prime Minister Gordon Brown, offering advice on international policy. This further establishes Rubin as a global strategist by demonstrating his capacity to use his knowledge of foreign issues outside the U.S. Freedom of the press. More personally, Rubin is well known for fervently supporting press freedom. He has a unique perspective on the value of independent journalism because of his experience in government and the media, and he often discusses the need to defend press freedom in democracies. Despite his career success, Rubin remains loyal to his family, especially his son, Darius John Rubin. His ability to juggle parenting with a well-known job demonstrates his dedication to preserving interpersonal relationships in the face of global obligations. Rubin is a complex public personality who has left a legacy beyond politics and media because of his many experiences and achievements. Darius John Rubin. The son of former American Ambassador James Rubin and well-known journalist Christiane Amanpour, Darius John Rubin was raised by two successful parents. Darius was born in 2000 and is surrounded by many political, international, and media issues. His parents' successful jobs have greatly influenced his perspective, morals, and goals. He was exposed at a young age to the intricacies of global affairs and the unrelenting search for the truth, which are characteristics of his father's and mother's occupations. Birth and early life. Born in 2000, Darius John Rubin is the son of former U.S. Ambassador James Rubin and renowned journalist Christiane Amanpour. His birth sparked public curiosity since he was the sole child of two compelling international journalists and politicians. Although the precise time and place of his birth are still mostly unknown, it is well known that he was raised in an affluent and intellectually stimulating environment, and due to his parents' global employment, exposed him to many other cultures and nations at a young age, which influenced his upbringing. Life in London. Darius was born and raised mainly in London, where his parents had made their home. While his father, James Rubin, continued to work in political and journalistic circles, his mother, Christiane Amanpour, was fully committed to her job as CNN's main international anchor. Darius was exposed to a global and cosmopolitan atmosphere while growing up in London, where he had access to some of the most outstanding educational options. He had an early understanding of international issues because the city is renowned for its extensive history and worldwide importance. Time in the United States. Darius also spent much time in the U.S. because of James Rubin's close connections to American politics and administration. His father advised well-known politicians and had been an assistant secretary of state. Darius was thus exposed to Washington, D.C., a center of political discussion and decision-making. Because he was raised among people who shaped domestic and international politics, his stay in the United States further expanded his viewpoint on media, diplomacy, and government. Exposure to other global locations. Being the son of two professionals who were always on the go, Darius probably traveled a lot and lived in many places throughout the globe. Christiane Amanpour visited international summits, war zones, and foreign capitals throughout her career. Even though he didn't go with her on these missions, her experiences undoubtedly impacted him. Because of his American paternal ancestry and Iranian and British mother ancestry, he was exposed to Middle Eastern, European, and American cultures throughout his youth. A global citizen. Darius John Rubin's childhood is indicative of a global way of life. He has lived in settings prioritizing journalism, diplomacy, and a thorough awareness of international issues in the U.S., London, or other countries. As a result of his exposure to many cultures and political environments, he is a more well-rounded person with a broad viewpoint on global problems. The influence of Christiane Amanpour. Christiane Amanpour, one of the most renowned international journalists of her day, has reported from some of the most hazardous combat areas on Earth. She has reported on wars, political upheavals, and humanitarian catastrophes worldwide, and is renowned for her daring style of journalism. Being raised by a mother like this allowed Darius to see firsthand the obligations and sacrifices associated with a profession in journalism. Integrity, courage, and perseverance. Amanpour's commitment to revealing the truth taught her kids the value of honesty, bravery, and tenacity. She has always kept her family life private, but has spoken candidly about the difficulties between motherhood and her busy job. She has acknowledged in interviews the challenges of being away from home for business, but she has also underlined the need to set an example. She has taught Darius the importance of sticking up for what is right, even when difficult. The influence of James Rubin. Darius's viewpoint has also been greatly influenced by seasoned writer and diplomat James Rubin. As an ex-U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for Public Affairs and a prominent participant in foreign policy debates, Rubin has directly influenced global diplomacy. Because of his journalistic background and knowledge of government issues, Darius has a unique combination of media literacy and political awareness. Understanding of global affairs. Rubin's work has focused on influencing policy and diplomacy behind the scenes, unlike his mother, whose profession often took her to the front lines of war reporting. As a result of this discrepancy in occupations, Darius probably gained a balanced perspective on both the public and private aspects of world events. Darius has been exposed to the inner workings of government relations, negotiating tactics, and the power of good communication, since his father is actively involved in international politics. A life of privilege and responsibility. Being the son of two well-known people has given Darius John Rubin exceptional possibilities. His interests and aspirations have probably been shaped by his upbringing in a home that places a high importance on education, information, and global awareness. The virtues his parents instilled in him, curiosity, perseverance, and a dedication to truth, will surely guide him throughout his life, regardless of whether he chooses to follow in their footsteps or forge his own. Even though Darius has mostly avoided the spotlight, his parents' influence is still felt. He is the offspring of two people who have devoted their lives to educating the world, and their influence will continue to mold his future no matter what direction he takes. Education and passion. The son of former American Ambassador James Rubin and well-known journalist Christiane Amanpour, Darius John Rubin has benefited from a top-notch education influenced by his parents' professional and intellectual backgrounds. He has experienced both luxury and responsibility in his academic career, having grown up surrounded by a wealth of political conversation, world events, and media impact. It is known that Darius attended esteemed schools that gave him a solid intellectual and critical thinking foundation, even if specifics regarding his educational background are still primarily confidential. Educational background. Darius's family spent much of his youth in London, where he most likely received his early schooling due to his parents' overseas jobs. Some of the most prestigious institutions in the world are located in London, and their demanding curricula emphasize leadership, debate, and global awareness, values strongly related to his background. As a result of his exposure to both American and British cultures, he may have had access to a well-rounded global academic experience. Journalism and diplomacy. Darius is said to have pursued his education in a respectable university as he got older, most likely in the U.S. or the U.K., where he concentrated on media studies, international relations, or politics. His academic interests were probably influenced by his parents' experiences in media and diplomacy, which inspired him to study public communication, foreign affairs, and government. Passions and interests. Darius has had a pretty secluded life, but his interests mirror the principles and life lessons his parents taught him. With a father heavily active in diplomacy and a mother devoted to brave journalism, Darius may have grown up with a keen interest in international politics, media, and narrative. Passion for public service. Due to his exposure to prominent political people, journalists, and intellectuals, he could also be passionate about international relations, public service, or continuing his parents' newspaper career. His upbringing in a household prioritizing justice, honesty, and global consciousness probably sparked a keen interest in international issues. Darius may be able to identify opportunities to make a significant contribution to conversations about international concerns via writing, lobbying, or diplomacy. A future of possibilities. Because of his education and exposure to global issues, Darius John Rubin can significantly influence whatever profession he chooses to pursue. His education and upbringing will undoubtedly continue to influence his route to success, regardless of whether he decides to pursue a career in politics, journalism, or another love. Darius John Rubin's professional accolades. The son of former American Ambassador James Rubin and well-known journalist Christiane Amanpour, Darius John Rubin has mostly kept a low profile. As of the present, he has no well-known professional honors. Unlike his parents, Darius has not garnered public attention for noteworthy professional accomplishments and has made substantial contributions to international media and diplomacy. However, he can succeed in whatever sector he chooses because of his affluent upbringing, access to a top-notch education, and exposure to world events. A legacy of excellence and potential. Since two influential people nurtured him, Darius was exposed to an environment where quality, diligence, and commitment were valued highly. His mother is one of the most renowned foreign journalists, Christiane Amanpour. She is famous for her in-depth conversations with global leaders and courageous conflict coverage. James Rubin, his father, played a pivotal role in diplomatic relations as the Assistant Secretary of State for Public Affairs. This unusual fusion of journalism and diplomacy has impacted Darius's interests and professional goals. Career in international relations, media, or politics. Darius may be pursuing a career in politics, the media, or foreign relations, even if he hasn't made any particular professional accomplishments public. He may follow a route consistent with his parents' commitment to truth and international affairs, given that he was exposed to some of the world's most critical challenges early on. Being raised in a home where diplomacy and journalism were valued highly, Darius probably gained a profound awareness of international affairs, civic duty, and the need for accurate reporting. He could have been able to handle complicated foreign issues via policymaking, media analysis, or diplomatic work, thanks to his training and experiences. He might add to international communications, political strategy, or human rights conversations. His efforts could result in recognition for his contributions to global activism, journalism, or diplomacy if he chooses to follow in his parents' footsteps. Potential career paths and future accolades. Darius may contribute to media analysis, international communication, or investigative reporting if he pursues a career in journalism as his mother did. He would be a helpful voice in the media due to his extensive knowledge of world politics and his interactions with some of the most seasoned reporters and officials. He might get honors like journalistic prizes for superior reporting or investigative work if he pursues this career path. On the other side, he may work in governmental positions, international organizations, or institutions that make policy if he chooses to follow in his father's footsteps and become a diplomat. He could be recognized by states, organizations, or international agencies for his diplomatic efforts, peace talks, and contributions to world affairs. His foundation. Darius John Rubin has not yet won any noteworthy professional honors, but his background has equipped him with the skills necessary to succeed. He has enormous potential for success regardless of whether he decides to pursue a career in journalism, diplomacy, or another field. The world may one day honor him for his accomplishments when he embarks on his career, just as it has honored his parents' significant contributions. World shaped by media, diplomacy, and global affairs. Born into a society influenced by journalism, diplomacy, and international politics, Darius John Rubin is the son of former U.S. Ambassador James Rubin and well-known journalist Christiane Amanpour. Being the only child of two very successful parents, his unusual upbringing has impacted his relationships with his parents and others. Despite maintaining a modest profile, his close family and social contacts provide a glimpse into his life. A strong bond with Christiane Amanpour and James Rubin. Darius has a strong relationship with his parents, who have greatly influenced his morals and outlook. Christiane Amanpour, renowned for her brave reporting and commitment to covering combat zones, has undoubtedly impacted her son's respect for honesty, morality, and world knowledge. Despite her busy employment, Amanpour has often discussed her difficulties between her children and her job. Even though she traveled a lot on assignments, she has said how crucial it was to her that Darius got the love and care he needed. Essential figure. An essential role in Darius's life has also been played by the acclaimed political analyst and Assistant Secretary of State James Rubin. Given his experience in policymaking and diplomacy, Rubin's influence probably sparked his son's interest in politics and international relations. Darius has maintained a tight relationship with his parents, even though they separated in 2018 after 20 years of marriage. Amanpour has publicly said they are still a solid family and love and respect one another while co-parenting their kid. Social and casual relationships. Due to his upbringing in a well-known family, Darius has probably made acquaintances and formed social ties with members of prestigious political and academic circles. His parents' exposure to prominent individuals has given him contacts with the offspring of diplomats, journalists, and world leaders. Thanks to his upbringing in London and access to elite institutions, he has developed a varied social network, including classmates and mentors who share his intellectual and cultural interests. Maintains close friendship. It is safe to suppose that Darius has deep relations with peers who value his distinct heritage, even if he has kept his personal life secret. His upbringing in a home that values discussion, critical thinking, and global concerns could have shaped the connections he develops. His associations reflect his ideals and goals, whether formed in informal social situations, media-related interactions, or intellectual groups. Shaping his identity. Darius John Rubin's identity has been greatly influenced by his connections, especially those with his parents. His upbringing in a home that values truth, diplomacy, and international affairs implies that he has developed deep ties with others who share his goals and viewpoints, even if he keeps his social and personal life secret. His journey will continue to be shaped by his parents and informal relationships as he forges on. Background, upbringing, and influences. Despite his parents' prominent occupations, Darius John Rubin, the son of renowned journalist Christiane Amanpour and former American ambassador James Rubin, has maintained a secluded existence. Even though a large portion of his trip is still unknown to the general public, several fascinating details about his childhood, inspirations, and background shed light on his life. Multicultural heritage. Darius's background is quite varied. His father, James Rubin, is American, while his mother, Christiane Amanpour, is of Iranian and British ancestry. His cosmopolitan upbringing has influenced his viewpoint, which has given him a profound respect for other languages, civilizations, and global issues. Growing up in a varied household gave him distinct views on history, diplomacy, and world affairs. Education and intellectual exposure. It is known that Darius has had access to several of the top universities, even if the specifics of his formal education are mostly kept confidential. His parents' histories in politics and media probably pushed him to have excellent analytical abilities and a great interest in international issues. His early exposure to the media, diplomacy, and elite debates could have shaped his academic interests and led him to pursue journalism, political science, or international relations degrees. Private lifestyle. Darius has kept a quiet presence in the public eye, in contrast to many offspring of famous people. He hasn't aggressively sought recognition in the public eye or social media celebrity. His parents' beliefs, which have prioritized professionalism, ethics, and personal privacy through their professions, are reflected in this restraint. Parental influence on his interests. Darius was exposed to world events, notable political people, and thought leaders while growing up with a journalist for a mother and a diplomat for a father. From a young age, he probably interacted with global leaders, went to important diplomatic gatherings, and participated in conversations about foreign affairs. These events could have impacted his interests and future goals in journalism, diplomacy, or another international sector. Darius John Rubin is still quiet, but his background, culture, and exposure to world events make him a fascinating character. The heritage of his successful parents has influenced his serious and grounded demeanor, which is shown in his multicultural background, academic upbringing, and decision to remain out of the spotlight. Cultural exploration and recreational pastimes. The son of former American Ambassador James Rubin and well-known journalist Christiane Amanpour, Darius John Rubin has mostly kept his personal life secret. Although not much is known about his particular interests by the general public, his upbringing, cultural background, and exposure to world events indicate the kinds of things he would find enjoyable. Because of his family's significant intellectual and global impact, his interests probably combine academic pursuits, cultural research, and leisure activities. Interest in global affairs and politics. Darius probably became interested in international issues since he grew up in a home influenced by media and diplomacy. He could like reading about historical events, global politics, and world wars, much as his parents did. James Rubin's expertise in policymaking and Christiane Amanpour's history and war reporting suggest that Darius keeps up with current affairs and participates in conversations on media ethics, diplomacy, and geopolitics. Literature and writing. Since his father is a political analyst and his mother is a journalist, Darius may have grown to like writing and reading. Books that provide historical and cultural viewpoints in literature, political science, philosophy, and history could interest him. If he inherited his parents' communication abilities, he could also love writing scholarly studies, opinion essays, or imaginative stories. Travel and cultural exploration. Darius could be passionate about travel and cultural discovery. He was raised in an international family and has lived in many places. His exposure to various customs, foods, and languages may have influenced his awareness of many cultures. He likes visiting historical sites, museums, and other places of cultural significance, whether on family vacations or on his own. Sports and outdoor activities. Darius could be interested in sports or outdoor activities, but little about his leisure pursuits is known. He could have engaged in activities like soccer, tennis, or trekking due to his upbringing in London and exposure to a multicultural environment. His cerebral interests may be balanced by engaging in physical activities, promoting relaxation and well-being. Even though Darius John Rubin is still a private person, his interests probably stem from his upbringing in a home that values education, culture, and world awareness. His exposure to the world and his parents' heritage may significantly impact his hobbies, whether in sports, reading, writing, or travel.
If you've watched the video till here, that means you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notifications bell icon